There's a late entry that I think you should go ahead and read because it's very pertinent to right now.
I missed it.
It came in while...
Oh, Karen Schmidt has a gratitude. Karen Schmidt is so grateful for my trip to the U.S., especially for my visits in person to Unity.
We loved having her back.
We did. It was great to have you here. She's also grateful for prayers answered. My sister is doing well, and I returned to Basel safely. Basel. I've never been to Switzerland. Sorry, Karen.
I drunk the milk chocolate. Okay, guys, you want to play a little bit? Everybody can sing along on this one. If you don't know this one, you've never lived in the United States. So, something like that. Kiss today goodbye. The sweetness and the sorrow. Wish me luck the same to you. But I can't regret what I did for love, what I did for love. And look, my eyes are dry, for the gift was ours to borrow. It's as if we always knew. And I won't forget what I did for love, what I did for love. And gone, love is never gone. As we travel on, love's what we remember. And kiss today goodbye, and point me toward tomorrow. For we did what we had to do. I won't forget, won't regret what I did for love, what I did for love, what I did for love. Hey, thanks, guys.
Thank you, Michael.
You are so welcome.
What I Did for Love. Now that phrase from the same song Michael just sang, which I'll talk about in a few minutes, could be taken a few different ways. It could mean the things one does in order to be loved. Are you kind and nice to people? Do you do things that make you attractive and lovable? And that's one way to take the title. But given the context of the song and the musical from which it comes, a chorus line puts it in a different light. The show, in case you don't know it, was wildly popular when it was running in the 1970s and 80s in New York City. It, in fact, was the longest running show on Broadway for a long time until Cats overtook it in 1997. I like a chorus line better than Cats, if you couldn't tell. The show is about dancers and an audition for a Broadway musical. Their triumphs, their disappointments, their regrets, their joys. When one dancer suffers a career-ending injury at the audition towards the end of the show, the director of the show asks, "What would you do if you couldn't dance anymore?" The dancers all agree that dancing is what they do. Even more so, it's who they are. Then one of the dancers sings the song that we just heard. The others agree that what they did without regret. They did for love. Now, the simple Venn diagram, which is on the screen right now, which I admit looks like the MasterCard logo, points, and that's not like to get you into the mood for the offering later, but it points out that our vocation is what we do for love where it intersects with the needs of the world. One of my favorite theologians, Frederick Buechner, puts it this way: vocation is the place where our deep gladness meets the world's deep need. Vocation is not something we ought to or should be doing. It's not doing something because someone expects us to do it. Vocation is what we are called to do. What the divine gives us the gifts, talents, and desires to do in this world. A part of our vocation is making the world a better place. There are many needs in this world, and we can be a part of the solution to fixing them. Not all of them, mind you, not even solving the whole of any one of them, perhaps. Howard Thurman, the great black preacher and speaker who founded the Church for the Fellowship of All Peoples here in San Francisco, had this to say: ask what makes you come alive and go do it. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. That's an important step in figuring out vocation. What burns within you? What enlivens your days and excites you? Now, don't get vocation and occupation confused. What we do for a living may include our vocation, but it may be far removed from our vocation. But many do not get to do vocation and occupation together. We may never receive any pay for our vocation. Well, we toil in a job that pays the rent and keeps the food on the table. Now, don't get me wrong, those things are important. But if it's not your vocation, you may find that you long to do something else in addition to your occupation. Discovering our vocation may take some digging into our true selves to reach down and to find the divine gifts that reside within us. The Quakers described that true self as the light or that of God within us. We won't know our vocation without knowing our inner light, that divine spark that resides in each of us. Finding it can take some work, but it's worth doing. Discovering a vocation does take that inner work, and some things can get in the way of that work. One is our own ego. We can confuse our inner self with the acclaim we receive and the rewards to our outer selves. When, for instance, we're honored for a good deed that we've done, it's a good thing. But we have to be careful not to let our egos rule and allow them to get in the way of discovering our true calling, our vocation. Yes, it's possible to be honored for deeds we do in our vocation, but that's not the main aim. We can receive acclaim, but when our ego takes over and soaks in all that acclamation, we can be distracted from our vocation and begin to equate the praise for that inner self. We seek out, thus, what brings us joy, what fills our soul. But we also have to discover the world's deep need. It's not all about us, as much as we might like it to be. We need to look around and see where there is need, where your gifts and talents can make a difference. Of course, it goes without saying, but I'll say it anyways. There is deep need in our world today, as there has always been. It doesn't take much imagination to realize there are people in situations where we can make a difference. As I said, we're not going to fix the world all by ourselves. We may not even fix one thing, but we can be part of a solution. Look around. See what's going on. How are you called to make a difference? That is your vocation. that is what the divine spark, the true light, is there for. No one can decide it for you, though certainly others can help you discover who you are. For in discovering who you are, you'll also find out whose you are, who you belong to, who guides you and urges you onward. And it doesn't matter what age you are. The test of whether you are meant to make a difference in this world is simple. The test is, are you breathing? If so, then you can and need to make that difference. But don't keep your vocation hidden and out of sight. Let it be known and fearlessly proclaim it to others. In doing so, you may help them find their vocation. And they may help others find theirs, and others help find theirs. And soon enough, we have a community of people who are changing the world, making an impact, finding their vocations. And what a joyous event that would be. What do you do for love? What is your vocation? Seek it out at this time and place and seek to know how you are called. Do it because it will change the world. Do it because God is seeking your involvement in a hurting and pain-filled world. Do it for yourself and do it for others. And so it is. Amen. So take a moment to just relax. I invite you to close your eyes if you're comfortable, or focus downwards at a soft focus. Take a deep breath. And exhale it slowly. Slowly soften the muscles in your body, starting with your feet. Move up through your legs. Your abdomen. Your chest. Soften your hands. Your arms. Relax your neck, your face, your head. Take another deep breath and slowly let it out. And then continue to breathe as you normally would. In your mind, go back to a time before you were born. God was with you even then. Feel God's presence in and with you as you grow in the womb. Imagine God's joy when you were born. New life and new possibilities await. Picture God with you as you grow. As you take your first steps. As you say your first words. Find that divine spark within you as you start school and advance through the grades until you graduate from high school. Is God with you through those times? Did God rejoice at your celebrations? Weep at your griefs? What comes after high school? Do you feel drawn to a career path or a particular vocation? Maybe as you look back, it's been several vocations. Find God's presence in each one. How did God prepare you for these callings? What gifts and strengths do you find within yourself that enable you to do the things you did or are doing right now? Listen closely for the voice of the divine as you seek your path. In what ways have you been led to your path? No matter where you are in your vocation right now, look back and see where your strengths met the needs that you fulfilled. Now look into the future and see again where your gifts might intersect with the call of the world. What are the exigencies of the world, of your world, that you might fulfill with the special gifts that God has endued you with? How can you act on those right now? What is God whispering in your ear from your heart at this moment about the direction you can take? Now take a deep breath again. Start to wiggle your fingers and toes a bit and slowly return to the place you are. Know that you are called into this world in which you find yourself and that you have a way to be part of it. Welcome back.
Here at Unity Spiritual Center, we are an ocean of love. Here at Unity Spiritual Center, we have an inspiring vision, an exciting mission, and compelling values by which we strive to live. Each week, we will join together and sing one of our statements. Please join with me in saying this week's statement, which is on the screen. That's not what's up there.
Read what's up there. That's the one we're going to get.
Yeah.
It's this one,
Yeah, but that's not what's up there.
our mission.
Okay. Our mission is together. We are a creative, joy-filled spiritual community dedicated to healing, inspiring, and transforming the lives of all people through prayer, education, and love, even though I can't get the two things together. And in this space, feeling so inspired by our vision, mission, and values, and feeling so enriched by what we've experienced here today, let us take time now to be a channel for enrichment through our generous tithes and love offerings. As Michael shares another song, you are invited to support this congregation with a check made out to USC, or cash, or by making a donation online. If you are here in the sanctuary, our usher, Susan, will come forward and take your offering. Practicing the principle of tithing ourselves as a spiritual community, we are pleased to tithe 10% of the offering collected every Sunday to various unity organizations and local nonprofits serving our city. Let us now take a moment to bless our tithes and love offerings as we cup them in our hands or next to our hearts. Let us say our offering blessing, which is on your screen. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
The storm brewing inside of me, clouds moving around my heart. Something's changing that I can't see. I'm stuck in what I know is safe, but not where I'm supposed to be. I feel the call of something more. I feel the call of something I never felt before. I feel the call of something more. I feel the call, it's asking, what am I here for? 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 They say that pain pushes till the vision pulls. Feels like my safety nets have all fallen down. Wish I had a map of where to go. I got this feeling in my soul that when I get there I'll know. I feel the call of something more. I feel the call of something I never felt before. I feel the call of something more. I feel the call, it's asking, what am I here for? 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 I wanna make a move right now, though I don't know when or how. But I trust I'll know the truth, my heart will point the way. There is more of me to share, to a day I do declare. I will take that step in faith and let my light shine. Oh, I feel the call of something more. I feel the call of something I never felt before. I feel the call of something more. I feel the call, it's asking, what am I here for? 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 What am I here for?
So please join me in the blessing of our tithes and love offerings. Spirit of the living God, bless the acts of our hands, our minds, our hearts. May everything offered here at Unity Spiritual Center be a reflection of all that is good within us. Grant us the courage to patiently listen for the stirring of your presence. Enliven our spirits with humor. Fill us with reverence for one another and gratitude for our diversity. May unity, beauty, and truth be the fruit of all we do. And so it is. Amen.